Hello and welcome to Smoke Mare's Gaming and Car Talk. So today we're going to be going through a step-by-step guide on how to put those magnets on the bottom of your figures so that you can use my super easy, super cheap storage solution of biscuit tins. And the model we're going to be doing is one I've just finished painting. It's the Adaptosaurus Dialogus here. That's a nice little tiny writing on there. That's an unusual thing I've done there. You can just see the skull within the old Space Marine helmet. And obviously what we want to do is get this magnetized so we can stick it in a biscuit tin and it will just sit there without falling over. So how we're going to do it, we're going to put magnets in this base here. Now what we're going to need to do this job are some super glue. I use this stuff here, Loctite Precision. Seems to work really well. You'll need that for gluing metal to plastic. You also need some plastic cement. If you've got money coming out of your ears and you don't mind spending it, you can get the Citadel stuff. I'm told you can get better for cheaper, but I'm not that bothered. Citadel's fine for me. Then I've got these 2mm magnets here, and what we're going to do is we're going to mount them in a bit of sprue, which we then glue into the bottom of the base. So these are all stuck together like this. We're also going to want a small pair of needle nose pliers, like these ones here. These are great because they've got a little spring in there, so they automatically reopen. And these are great for popping those magnets in place. We'll want some cutters. These are the Citadel fine cutters. You can get them from any Warhammer shop, or you can get a better alternative, probably cheaper, from somewhere else, but hey ho. And you're going to need a scalpel. This is just a cheap Stanley disposable one you get from B&Q or anywhere like that. And I also recommend, particularly if you're using the plastic glues, to get a piece of strong wire like this and make yourself a declogging tool. The main thing is the wood gives you a nice good handle, and you can find it easily, whereas otherwise these bits of wire, you will just lose them, and you can use that to clear out the nozzle on your plastic glue when it gets clogged up, which it will. You can also heat it up with a lighter, but I prefer to just prod that with my prodding nozzle clearing tool thingamajiggery. You will also want yes, you'll also want a drill of some sort. Now I used to use a big power tool drill for my work like this, but I ended up getting one of these. It's an Aromax 4X drill, and it's a pen drill basically, but it's one which you if you just hold down the power switch there, the LED lights up, forward, stop, then reverse, and you can stop again, and you've got different speed settings. Comes in this nice little metal container, and you get a charge cable with it and a different selection of different drill bit sizes. I used to use a more powerful power drill, but to be honest, this is a lot safer and a lot easier. So how are we going to start? First thing we need to do is, and again, you'll need more magnets for larger or metal models, but this one here, relatively light, not too big, so we should be able to get away with one. So the first thing we need is a bit of spare sprue. So I'm just going to have a look at my bits box to see what I've got. And that's looking pretty reasonable. Can't remember what it's off, but it doesn't really matter. And what you find is the height of this sprue is very similar to the height that you need to get this magnet into place here, and so it sits in the right place. I think just for the demonstration purposes, on this one, although I think I could probably get away with one, we will do 2. So if I sort of take a measure of how much we need off there, about halfway across there should be okay. So we're going to take the fine cutters, like so, and I'm going to trim that off here, like so. Then we'll pop that back into the spare box. Never throw your sprue away, it's always quite useful. This one's got an actual raised bit up here, which we want to take off, otherwise the model might wobble, and we don't want that. We want it to sit flat if possible. So I'm going to snip that off, and it's pinged all over the room. I've got no clue where that's gone, but there you go. And if you just get the scalpel and you just trim a little bit of that excess off there. Main thing is we don't want it to sit too proud. And that should be good. It's also worth trying to, this bit's got quite a few numbers on, so just so it sits nicely, we can just scrape those off with the sharp edge of the scalpel, like so, like so. And like so. Now, do be careful with these. When they're new, they are very sharp, but this one's quite an old one, so it's not too risky to use. Just try and take those sharp edges off, so we're going to have a piece that will sit nicely on the bottom. So that should be pretty good now. We can just try that in the model to see how it fits. There's the dialogus. If we turn it upside down, we can test that in there. You tend to want it not in the very middle because that little knobbly bit tends to stick up. But you tend to want it sort of as close to that as you can. And if we put the 2 magnets at either end, that should sit quite well. Probably don't want them too close to the edge because then it might interfere with other models if it's in a squad with them. But with this having 2, we can put one on either side a little bit. So we're happy with that. We can put that model down somewhere else. Now we're going to take the drill and we're going to make those holes. So I prefer to use the wide bit to sit flat against the base of the model and then have the holes in this bit here. So what we're going to do is find my magnifying glasses. If you're young and you've got eyes that work, you might find you can manage without this step, but if you do want to do more of this fine detail work, these are the 3 times magnifying glasses I use. Really handy, you can see what we're doing a lot better, and they've got a built-in light. So what we're going to do basically is take that piece of spare sprue we've put to one side, and we're going to drill a couple of tiny holes in it. I'll try and put a link to this tool in the description so you can find it. So we're going to go and this drill bit isn't quite big enough, so just using it to go up and down a little bit. And we want it to sit flush, so we're going quite deep. Obviously the drill bit is rounded at the end, so to get the full depth you probably have to work back and forth a little bit. But that should be sufficient. Then we're just going to clean off that little bit of plastic so we can see what we've got. That doesn't look too bad. With a bit of modification, that should be good. Now we'll put one at the other side as well, so we'll do 2 in this one. We're going to do the same thing again. Do be careful, watch your fingers with this. Again, I find it's a lot easier to use, a lot safer than a large power tool style drill. But it is still basically a drill, so be sensible. Take time. Make the hole so it's kind of oval shaped, a little bit bigger than you need. Then if you take your magnets, like so, you should be able to see roughly how you're going to compare for size. So you can see that way it's right, but it's not quite wide enough. I don't know if you can see that. So the rectification for that is, first of all, we'll set those magnets down here for a second, and then we'll grab those long nose pliers, and all we're going to do is insert the tips into them like so and spin it just to round out the hole. Do that a few times. Bit of pressure, try and flatten out the bottom of the hole as well. That'll give you a better seat for your magnet. Once you've done one, go to the other one. Same thing again. Give it a good squirrel all around just to make that round, nice and wide, and ideally a bit flat. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to get one of my other models out of my tin, because what I want to do is make sure all of these are the same way around. So let's pick one. We'll use that Repentia there, I think. So here we have a Repentia I did earlier. Obviously I've already done the bottom of the base so that she's got a magnet in there, and if you take the biscuit lid or the bottom of the biscuit lid or whatever, she will sit on there and stores the model really nicely. But what we want to do is use this model to make sure we get the polarity how we want it on the magnet, because I think it's probably better to have them all the same. So if we take one of our magnets from the little stack we made over here, and we get one of the, in fact we'll get 2, and pop those back, and if we drop these onto here, we can see that the bit that's sticking upwards is a bit that needs to go into the hole. So what we can then do is get the needle nose pliers like so, and you put the end on there, and then you scrape off the bit that you want. That's now in, we know that's now in the correct position to be put in the right place on that little piece of plastic. So we can put that to one side. That's now right. So we're now going to take the glue, and we're going to pop it over like so. Grab that little bit of sprue there, and again just a dab of glue in there. If it's a bit hole big afterwards, the hole's a bit big, we can always pop a bit of green stuff in. Make sure you clear your nozzle by squeezing here. Then take your magnet like so, and if you push that in and squeeze it a little bit with the other side and twist it, you should be able to get it to stay. And then if you just use your thumbnail, you can pull it off. If you've got a good wooden pushy stick or something that's non-magnetic, that is going to help you to get this right. I'm going to use a cocktail stick here just to push that down, make sure it's right into the hole so it's not sticking proud of the plastic, like so. And again, we can trim that off and flatten up a little bit with the scalpel afterwards. So that's that one done. So then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll just pop that down for a second there, ideally not gluing it to the rest of the magnets. Then we're going to get the same model we had before, the Repentia, and we've already got that magnet still in place. That's the one we want to use, obviously. So we're going to take the needle nose pliers like so, drop that onto there, and then just slide it off, and that's going to keep that in the correct position to go into the bit where we want it to go on that bar. So again, we can stand that up against the side of our working area, grab the little sort of a piece that we're going to use for this here, and we're going to apply a little bit more super glue into the second hole, like so. Again, not too much. Then if we go back to the needle nose pliers, and we just use that to push that magnet into the hole we've made. And again, if you slide it up a bit, squirrel it back and forth just to make sure it's got a nice flat base, and then use your thumbnail to hold it in place. I like to, at this stage, just grab a little bit of a kitchen towel and try and get some of the excess off and work some of the spare super glue into the gap around the holes. Maybe we've got a little bit of a lip there which we want to take off. So if you're blowing it, try and get that drop down a bit, and use the scalpel, just trim a little bit off. Like so. That's much flatter, that's much better. A little bit more of that side on. Really ideally, you want the magnet either on the metal or just hovering above it. But we're looking for something that's not going to wobble. So take off anything that's going to make it stick proud. When we think we're happy, we can try that underneath the base of the model, and we should be able to see, when we hold it like that, you can't see it, so that should be good. And the height should be around about right. So, what you can do, if you don't like these little bits of holes here, the side of the magnet, you can paste a bit of green stuff over the top. And this isn't too bad, so I'm probably going to leave it. But the holes, if you've made your hole a bit big, after you've glued the magnet, dab of green stuff with the dab of super glue mixed together, paste it all in, and then you can sand it down flat. But this is more or less okay now. We should be happy with this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a piece of wood, which acts as the lid to one of my sort of hobby boxes, if you like. And we're going to move the Zephyr out of the way and plonk this down here, just so we can do this next bit well. So what we need is put that down there, and we need the plastic cement now, and we're going to drop that plastic cement into here. And you'll probably want the nozzle unclogger tool afterwards. So grabbing that there, and nice bit of and get the glue out. I might do the nozzle and unclogger first, actually. That does happen from time to time. I may have forgotten to clear my nozzle at the last time. And so gonna pull that little gummy bit off the edge there. Then we're going to feed in the nozzle unclogger, go all the way down, then just a little back and forth, and we should be good. So now we go back to the model, and we'll apply, that's better, a good bit of plastic cement just to one side of the little knobbly bit that sticks out. Then if we sort of gently drop this onto the area that we've glued, and then sit it in kind of wrap it. I don't want to press on too hard, because actually if we could just get it to start sticking a little bit so it stays where it is, then we can plonk it flat. It should give us the flat surface should allow us to press it down in such a way that it will press down the right amount so that the model doesn't wobble afterwards. And actually, that looks pretty good. I'm reasonably happy with that. So, that is now more or less complete. I've got the model painted, we've got the base on. It could actually be pushed down a tiny bit more, I think, probably. It wouldn't be problematic. The main thing is you're looking for is wobble, but that seems pretty good. Once you're happy, just leave that to dry. Again, it actually makes the model feel a little better. It's a little bit more weighty. And then if we look here, this is my second storage box. This is the larger models like the Penitent engines in Woven Val. These ones have got this one here, for example. This Penitent engine has got 2 on a wider bar there, and the metal models, which again they're in the other box, the Preacher, they've got some because of the weight, but Woven Val 2 has got in her case, because she's quite a big model, she's got 3 magnets stuck there. That's one of the earlier ones I'd done, so I'd quite refined the technique. But now we've got the dialogus in, we've done that little bit of work. We can drop the dialogus down in the box, and you'll find you can hold the whole thing upside down. Bigger ones will slide around a little bit, but basically they're not falling over. You can move them to your gaming session, and they're going to get there undamaged. So hope you've enjoyed it anyway. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell. And if you need any of these tools, check the description. I'm going to put a link to all the tools I've used to do this job and all the supplies, so you can do it yourself. The only thing I'm not going to do is tell you where to get biscuit tins in. The only thing I would say is, if you're buying some biscuits or chocolates, look for ones that are quite deep, because your issue will be finding tins which are deep enough to be able to put the lid on without damaging your models. For bigger models like Woven Val and the Paragons and anyone like the Magnifier or Repentia that are holding the sword straight up there, Seraphim, anything like that, you're going to need quite a deep tin. This is quite a deep tin. I've got a flatter tin with a less height for the normal models, but anything that won't fit in there is going to go in here. Otherwise, good luck. Let me know how you get on. Thanks for watching.